Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now our group will present to you about planning techniques and modeling for housing sectoral in RSN of Kelantan. So meet our group, which is the first is Syamier Amirul, then Syahmi, which is myself, and next is Abdul Azim, Zahin Zafri, and Atikah Zamani. Also Aini, Husna, and Syahman Afiq. So for the table of contents, we cover the introduction, which is 1.0, 2.0 existing situation, 3.0 data analysis, 4.0 projection, technique and modeling, and 5.0 recommendation and conclusion. So now for the introduction, which is 1.0, I will cover about the goal and objective about the study. So for the housing refers to a group of dwellings or location utilized as residential areas. A home, according to Azwa from 1996, is a physical structure made up of rooms, courtyards, and surrounding regions that is utilized as a place to live and to raise a family. So, this study will provide the key components for doing housing projection. The area feature in this research for housing forecast is one of Malaysia's state, which is Kelantan. So, for the goal is to apply planning models and techniques in the housing sector by interpreting issues and problems in the Kelantan area and providing suggestions and findings that can remedy the issues utilizing data from the Kelantan State Structure Plan. So there is three objectives for this study to achieve the goal. So firstly is to find the current trend of housing in Kelantan and do the projection for 20 years by using the year 2020 as the base year. So the second objective is to use the SWOT analysis method as the evaluation method for the study. And lastly, to recommend the suitable proposal based on the analysis issues, problems, and the projection by using SWOT analysis method. So now for the existing situation.
Alright, my name is Mohd Afiq and I will explain chapter 2, which is existing situation. The first one is population and household size in Kelantan. Second, committed housing development and in Kelantan, and the third one is Kelantan housing average price. Next slide. The first one is existing data. The existing data will be analyzed to find the advantages and disadvantages that will be obtained by community living in state of Kelantan, because of housing is a basic thing that must be owned by every individual, who is family or not. The total number of housing units in Kelantan state for the year 2020 is 82,000 units. Terrace house are the highest existing stock in state of Kelantan, which is 40%, followed by low-cost house and detached house. Kota Baru district dominates the number of housing units, which is 33,000 housing number of residential units, following by Tanah Merah district, which is 7,000 units, while Jeli district is the district with the least number of residential units, which only 2,000 residential units. Next slide. Next slide. According to the data in 2020, the total population of Kelantan is 1.9 million. These numbers show an increase every year. With the increasing population, the amount of housing will also increase. Kelantan's population is concentrated in main cities such as Kota Baru, Pasir Mas, and Tumpat. In addition, the household size for each Kelantan district is 4.3, the same in each district. In Kelantan. Alright, next slide. The next slide is committed development in Kelantan state. According to the data in 2020, the total population of Kelantan is 1.9 million. This number shows an increase every year, which is increasing population. Right. Committed housing development in Kelantan in 2018 is the supply plan by district as shown in table 2.2. This 2018, Kota Baru had the highest number of committed development, which was 4,000, followed by Pasir Putih 2,000 units and Kuala Krai with 1,000 units. Bachok and Pasir Mas Jeli have the lowest committed houses, which are 125 units, 210 units, and 497 units respectively. Next is Kelantan housing price in average. Based on table 2.3, it shows the average overall housing price in Kelantan for 2 years from 2018 until 2020. The average number of price is categorized into 8 types of housing, namely 1-story terrace house, 2-story terrace house, 1-story semi-detached house, 2-story semi-detached house, and low house, flat house, and even apartments. The tables found that in 2018 and 2020, the lowest estimate average price was low-cost house types of housing that recorded price in 90,000 ringgit to until 150,000 ringgit, and in 2020 as much as 50,000 ringgit until 220,000 ringgit. For the highest average estimate for the year 2018 and 2020 is the same, which is 2-story double type of house, 420,000 to 102,000, while 2020 is recorded as much as 500,000 until 2 million in 2020. All right, the next slide is chapter 3.
Okay, now we move to the data analysis. Next slide. Okay, I know Atikah and I know Husna will present the data analysis of housing sector. There are 3 issues and problems that exist. So the first one is the inability to buy high cost and medium cost house. Residents in the state of Kelantan are experiencing the problem of not to being able to buy high cost and medium cost house due the increasing of housing price. Based on the data collection, for 2-story terrace house recorded the house price value of 200,000 to 750,000 for housing unit in 2020. Compare the years of 2018 as March 268,000 to 580,000 per housing unit. So the issue of the ability to own a house is becoming more apparent among the people in Kelantan. The imbalance causes the index of rate of the ability to own a house to decrease. So various government initiatives to implement the program for home preparation between 2014 and 2016, the median house price increased slowly by 5.7%, while the median household income increased by 6.6%. So the people of Kelantan are more focused on the getting a house of by piecemeal house. This is because the income rate in Kelantan is relatively low and makes them not to want take a risk to taking loan because they do not have any fixed income. So in Kelantan also have a private also have a second loan because they don't have any fixed income. That private landlord can be built and house only apply to direct approve the constructively process, even if it is not according to the plan specified by the authorities. With this, it shows that there is a piecemeal concept of the housing development because residents will seek the achievement of the building and house piecemeal instead of buying a house. So next, move to Aini Husna.
Alright, for the next issue, finding issue and problem is about the low rate of municipal development in the state of Kelantan. Okay, you can see the whether due to population factor that's not reached the target level set by the authorities. Then the low population in a township development will affect the housing development and settlement rate. Based on the result of the analysis found that the rate of urbanization for municipal development in the state of Kelantan was a low rate in 2019, which record of 52.4%. So based on Dasar Perancangan Fizikal Desa Negara 2013, the municipal settlement in the state of Kelantan is more to local city, which is as many 20 location. Local city is refer to the population and administrative center in the district at the level of 10,000 people to 100,000 population. So it can give the impact on the future development where is be lack of infrastructure and also the facility, which if give the incomplete facility and inefficient housing development. Next, about the size of rural settlement and is scattered and small. Okay, there is about the where the village area for the traditional village and orang asli settlement located rural area. There is a give impact on the community facility that can occur the inefficient and unholistic development infrastructure. Alright, the size of settlement for rural area which are traditional village and orang asli village is more scattered and small pattern because the percentage of systemized village is 5.54% compared the others category. There is a give impact for the housing layout in rural area towards incomplete community and also the facilities. Housing development will be unsystematic and also inefficient infrastructure such as water drainage, incomplete facility and non-comprehensive sewerage location. Okay, there is about the finding of issue and problem for the housing sector of the state of Kelantan. Alright, next.
Okay, we continue with chapter 4, which is projection technique and modeling. Before I start, I would like to introduce my name first. My name is Ahmad Amirul bin Kamaruzaman and my partner is Zahin Zafri bin Azam. So we will cover method of housing needs projection, housing need projection 222 to 24, analysis of projection, lack of housing, which is backlog, and building occupancy housing stock. Okay, next. Okay, we start with the method that we use to make projection, which is method of housing needs projection. The standard method of calculating state housing need was designed to simplify and accelerate the process of determining housing requirement for state structure plans. As a result, it provides the increased stability and predictability desired both local planning authority and the housing industry. So other than that, housing need refer to the number of units to be provided to the house to the people. It also number of unit needed in a given area to accommodate the number of household. Housing need projection is also a projection to determine a number of house in the future to accommodate the population growth and number of household. Okay, next. Okay, next is housing need projection from 2022 to 2014. Based on table, it shown the increasement of housing need in Kelantan from 2020 to 2040. Development and population growth lead to the provision of housing need, the increasing of housing need due to the increasing population. So from 2020 to 2024, the housing needs increased 78%. This shows the largest unit that Kelantan need to provide and demand from the population. You can see the highest demand is Kota Baru, like that I highlight in the table. So next. Okay, next is based on the bar chart. We can see the highest demand is Kota Baru with a total increase of 118,644. This shows that Kota Baru has higher demand and population. However, Kota Baru suffer from the problem of population density and lack of vacant land because most people are concentrated in Kota Baru compared to other jajahan. In addition, the one with the least amount and demand is lodging, which is 3,680. This due to the fact that its lodging is a small jajahan in Kelantan. Beside Gomusan, its location is also far inland from other jajahan. Residents mostly do not choose lodging due to lack of complete facility, network problems, and also far from the city to buy daily necessity. And next is other jajahan have the same increase but not too obvious compared to Kota Baru and lodging. As we can see, Kuala Krai, Tanah Merah and Pasir Putih have a close number of more than 40,000. We also show a move about the development in Kelantan because with this amount, it can help the people of Kelantan with the concept one family, one house to take care of the welfare of the people in Kelantan. So we proceed to Zahin to continue.
Alright, thank you, Ahmad Syamier. So now I'm going to cover the next projection. Alright, for the second projection is housing backlog. So this housing backlog is important to ensure satisfactory occupancy for every group of income that the goals for the regulatory or government to achieve one household for one house. And then at the calculation, we can see that the current housing, this data we take from years of 2022, that is 443,000. Then the existing housing is only 82,000, and the housing backlog is 5.3. We got it by divided from A to B, and we got the 5.3. And with this number, it shows that when the number is positive, it shows that the shortage of house is occur in Kelantan state. And then for the third projection is regular replacement. So this analysis shows a result of regular replacement housing for Kelantan state are 11,399. It is method to define the loss for housing stock. So this to ensure to back up the housing stock that are damaged by flooded or any kind of risk, any kind of loss. So from the calculation, we can see that the household for 20 and 40, with the overall housing in Kelantan is over 500,000, and the regular replacement percentage is 2%. And how we got it is by we divided the household number in 2040 and with regular replacements, and then we got the 11,000. So that's all from me. Thank you.
So let's continue to the chapter 5, which is recommendation and conclusions. Before we start, I would like to introduce my name first. My name is Abdul Azim bin Azlan, and for the chapter 5, it has been divided into 3, which is recommendations for analysis and conclusions. Next slide. Based on the analysis issue, problem and projection identified in the housing sector, there are 3 appropriate recommendations that can be obtained. First recommendation is increase the number of available housing development in the state of Kelantan. This method will solve the housing shortage. The Kelantan state government provide the Rumah Kelantanku project, a special housing scheme for the resident with income below than 3,000. This will produce affordable housing of various types. Other than that, the program Kepelbagaian Pertempatan Kelantan PKPK is also recommended to diversity B40 and M40 housing based on the household income. By providing affordable housing, the problem of not able to buy a house due to high cost will be reduced. Second recommendation is increase the rate of municipal development in the state of Kelantan. So the East Coast Economic Region Development Council (ECE) RDC work closely with the Kelantan state government to implement high impact project and human capital development programs to improve people's living standard and eradicate poverty. Increasing Kelantan's socio-economic rates will solve low household income and boost municipal developments. It can also solve the 5.3 housing backlog, which show the area has a housing shortage. This will affect the Kelantan 2040 developments. And lastly is a follow housing guidelines to produce a more complete housing network in a rural area of Kelantan. This method can produce organized and strategic rural settlement in a village area, especially traditional village and orang asli settlement. It will also benefit rural residents by providing housing with the sufficient facility, complete infrastructure such as drainage system, road pattern, and the others. Moreover, the Rumah Untuk Semua RUS program provide affordable housing in the village and indigenous areas. This housing will be proposed in a strategic location to solve the issue of a small rural settlements. Next, let's continue to the SWOT analysis. Kelantan problem and advantage are identified using an evaluation method, which is SWOT analysis. This analysis includes strengths, weakness, opportunity, and also threats. For the strengths, first, projections and analysis show adequate and high quality of high and medium cost housing, which the number of housing projection from 2020 to 2040 shows this data. Most housing are near the roads, so this help the residents access the main roads for daily activities. It can also make a daily supplies and existing facilities easier to access. Other than that, land is prepared for potential residence buildings, so the future housing shortage can be avoided. Second is a weakness for the B40 and M40 is a lack of available housing due to the issue and the problem. Many existing housing areas are high and medium cost housing for the M40 group only. This cause existing housing in Kelantan is abundant and backlog due to the resident unable to pay. Moreover, rural area have lifestyle conflict and settlement hierarchies. Unplanned and strategic housing cause these issues. Existing housing is built on a private lot, causing disorganizations. Then a traditional village and orang asli village far from the cities and town will face urbanization pressure. There is opportunities, which is rural area have the potential to grow and develop more, especially with the help of the private investor who lead a project that include the community like housing development project. Until 2040, this could free up a lot of land that could be used to build a new town and cities. The central government also have the local government in the other ways. This means to have the local government in the state of Kelantan carry out different housing programs and solve each housing problem that already exists. Lastly is trades, which is unapproved village housing post a trade to community facility and infrastructure by 2040. Only Kelantan residents can buy property there. No, so non-Kelantan resident cannot buy a house. Other than that, low population in Kelantan means low housing demand, which is lack of demand will lead to an excess supply of housing. Next, local and foreign investors are not interested in housing project in South Kelantan due to poverty gap because most of the South Kelantan have unsuitable geography for the housing developments. Then let's continue to the conclusion, which is in charge by Syahmi.
So I will cover about the conclusion for this study. So the conclusion produced is based on the findings on the sectoral housing planning models approach utilized in the sites region, so which is the state of Kelantan. So the state government might encourage collaborative ventures with housing developers to build more effective and competitive projects and housing activities. So this can be accomplished by requiring tight licensing requirement for housing developers. In addition, initiative for housing programs and housing schemes in Kelantan needs to be prepared and implemented to help local residents to own residential units easily. So the next step is for developers and the government to oversee service housing developments. A mechanism like this may ensure that sustainable housing is reinforced and that all interested parties work together more effectively. So according to the state itself, housing prices are also taken into account when selling a home. Finally, superiors are critical in giving adequate housing in terms of financial elements and policies on the duties completed. So that's all from our group for this housing sectoral for housing protection. So thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Dr.